Dear City of Seattle, to all the Seattle SuperSonics fans out there, I got great news for you. Or should I say, Northwest sports columnist John Canzano is actually the one who's providing the great news that all of us over here in the city of Seattle are so delighted to hear about. Now, as he reported early last week, the NBA is expected to announce 2 expansion teams in Seattle and Las Vegas after their media deal rights expire in 2024. Now, there have been a few media members that have denied the report. There have actually been a couple of NBA spokespeople that have also vehemently denied the rumors, but I think it's inevitable, y'all. I know that one of the media members that actually denied these rumors talked about how the NBA's media rights deals with Turner Sports and ESPN don't actually expire until after the 2024-2025 season. So with that being said, that would mean the 2022-2023 season would have to take place. The 2023 and 2024 season would also have to take place. And last but not least, the 2024 and the 2025 season would also have to take place. I think after then is when we'll actually see the Seattle SuperSonics return to Seattle and then another team be expanded into the NBA. So we'll go from 30 teams in the NBA to a total of 32 teams in the NBA. Now, before we embark and begin this episode, I would just like to take the second to thank all of you guys out there, to this Team Steezy family, to everyone out there that has been showing love from day one, to everyone out there that has been subscribed, to everyone out there that will subscribe, to everyone out there that follows us on Twitter, on Instagram, that's friends with us on Facebook. On behalf of the Team Steezy family, I would just like to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the support. Right now, we are on the road to 4K, and we will still go back to dropping our Seahawks draft profiles, but with news of the SuperSonics coming back to the NBA, inevitably, we just had to talk about this. And so before we get into the episode, one more time, if you guys could please hit that subscribe button, help us on our road to 4K, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. If you want to hop on the show, if you have video suggestions, idea and episode suggestions, ideas and whatnot, things of that nature, please don't be shy. Hit us up. We will reply. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Let your voices be heard. And we'll try to put it out there for y'all. So, man, let's hop right into it, shall we?
Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the
I'm your host, Calvin Domingo, aka Steezy A. Smith, and today I want to talk about the return of the Seattle SuperSonics potentially in 2025 and beyond. Now, there are a couple of prominent Seattle sports people, Seattle figures, people in the city, the mayor, for crying out loud. We got Bill Simmons, the city itself, the circles in the city itself. A lot of prominent people speaking on potential rumors that the NBA is returning to Seattle and it also expanding out into Vegas. Well, we'll start off with the mayor of Seattle, none other than Mayor Bruce Harrell. The odds are high. We're very intentional about it. I chased down rumors and I chased down actual people in a position to make that happen. I feel good about our opportunity. Shortly after, Seattle Kraken CEO Todd Lewicki had this to say: "Our work isn't done until that happens." So we have prominent Seattle sports figures, prominent Seattle city people speaking on things of this nature. And I know it's normal. I know it's natural for especially people in the city to be optimistic about the chances of a Seattle SuperSonics return. But like we talked about, this has been set to happen for the longest time now. I mean, even a couple of years ago, Adam Silver talked about how Seattle would be a great market for the NBA once it expands, and it's only inevitable that the NBA expands. The NBA has only gotten increasingly more popular, especially globally, in the last couple of seasons. And so for the NBA to return to a market as huge as Seattle, for the NBA to return to the Pacific Northwest, that is the Seattle SuperSonics, or in Seattle, I think it'd just be a great thing. Not only that, but Matt Barnes on ESPN talked about how for the NBA to expand, this would add not only jobs, this would improve the economy, this would increase revenue for all teams. And so for me, it's really a win-win situation for everybody, for all parties, for all NBA people involved. Not only that, the NBA Players Association would be very ecstatic about the news, as years down the line, the money would be split, TV money I'm referring to, would be split from 30 teams to 32 teams. But didn't the NBA and a lot of its teams lose a lot of money during the COVID-stricken seasons in the last couple of years? I know a lot of teams have kind of, let's not say struggling financially, but they've definitely have struggled to recoup, some of the losses because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so you have teams losing out on revenue in terms of ticket and attendance and merch and whatnot because of COVID. So if we go off of what Bill Simmons was talking about, he was talking about how the NBA, if they were to bring in 2 teams, the NBA would get about $6.5 to $7 billion. So let's say $3.5 billion for Seattle and then $3 billion for the Las Vegas team. And so if the NBA were to split that amongst 30 teams, that'd be about $220 million for each and every single team. And so every team is getting slapped with the $220 million check just to start off, just by allowing these 2 teams to join the NBA. And the NBA in the past has actually rigged their way around it. And so by introducing new teams, they could potentially tell the teams, yo, you know, you won't be able to touch any of the media money for 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. And so upon entering the fray, maybe there's a couple years in which those 2 teams, the 2 expansion teams, don't even get to touch any of that TV money. And so the NBA doesn't even have to split that money between 32 teams. They could split it between 30 teams and so forth and so forth. And so it wouldn't be for another 3, 4, maybe 5 years in which the NBA would have to split between 32 teams. But in the short term, not only would the NBA be able to recoup some of the money that they lost during the height of COVID, but they'd also be able to wait a couple years before they'd have to split the pie amongst the 2 incoming franchises. And so I think for the NBA, it's just like I said, I can't stress this enough. It's a win, 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 win. You got Matt Barnes over here talking about more jobs for the people, a better economy, more pay, bigger max salaries for players, bigger salaries for players, creating more jobs for players. Man, I just don't really see any of the negatives in it, especially as it pertains to Seattle. Now, not only was the Climate Pledge Arena a renovated version of Key Arena, but it also has an NBA-ready locker room to go. We had the CEO of the Kraken talking about how he's so excited and he's on a mission that he is not going to stop until the NBA brings back a team to Seattle. And like I said, and I'm going to keep saying this, it's inevitable. And so even if it's not going to happen now, even if it's not going to happen for 2, 3, 4 years, it's going to happen after 2025 when that NBA media deal with Turner Sports and ESPN inevitably runs out. Now, when we're looking at some of the numbers that the NBA is actually generating as far as revenue goes, they're only getting about $24 billion. And I know I say this lightly, but only $24 billion. But the NBA is looking for about $75 billion. According to CNBC's Jabbar Young, they're looking for up to $75 billion from Turner Sports and ESPN and whatever other media giant wants to join the fray, wants to join the party. I mean, we got the NFL over here signing $100 billion contracts. Now with the NBA expanding in the way that it has, especially globally, I think $75 billion is more, it's definitely a realistic number. And so that's definitely not a huge ask. And if that were to happen, I mean, oh my gosh, the revenue that they would split between 32 teams would still be a lot. And so I just don't see how the NBA would deny this. I don't see how the NBA will reject this. I mean, the city of Seattle, it breeds hoopers. The city of Seattle is a basketball type city. The city of Seattle has a culture for basketball. The city of Seattle loves its Sonics, misses its Sonics. The city of Seattle, heck, for crying out loud, hates the Oklahoma City Thunder. And imagine a rivalry between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Seattle SuperSonics. What would that do? And how much revenue would that generate for the NBA? How much business would that mean for the NBA? It would grow astronomically. And so I just don't envision a scenario in which this does not happen. Now, it's probably going to happen a little later, but still, nevertheless, it's going to happen. I think that's what fans should be excited about. There's an arena ready to go. The Storm currently plays over there. The Kraken plays over there. And when we're looking at Vegas, the Golden Knights, they just became an NHL franchise recently. The Seattle Kraken have just become an NHL franchise recently. And so Seattle's really only missing a team in Seattle. Not only that, as you guys can see, the jersey to my left, Kevin Durant. When he was with the Warriors 3 years ago, back in 2018, October of 2018, the Warriors actually played a preseason game against the Sacramento Kings in the old Key Arena. And so Kevin Durant is on record talking about how he would like to potentially finish his career in Seattle with the SuperSonics. Obviously, he has a lot of fans over here. Obviously, he still has a lot of love for the city in which he played a year for. Before embarking in that journey to Oklahoma, he actually was able to play a season for the Seattle SuperSonics, a rookie season in which he averaged 20 points a game. This guy has been no joke since entering the league, and I know Kevin Durant, his fan base is kind of split, especially across the NBA, given what he has and hasn't done. And that can mean a lot of things, so definitely be sure to leave that to your own interpretation. But I do know that he's loved, he's beloved here in Seattle. I do know that the Seattle SuperSonics are very much in need. They deserve a city. I mean, literally, the city was stripped in 2008, 14 years ago. And so for the NBA to come back to Seattle, I think it's only right. And I think it's really only a matter of time. But right now, Seattle and Las Vegas are the current front runners. And then wouldn't it just be strange if the Seattle Seahawks were to not return to the NBA upon expanding? That just wouldn't make any sort of sense, especially given the way that the Seattle fans have had to deal with the departure of their beloved basketball team. I mean, this is a team that has a championship in its short history. This is a team that has had great players in its history. This is a team that has had success in the NBA, and so it just wouldn't make very much sense not to bring this team back. Now, as far as the expansion draft, we don't have to touch on this too much now, but when an expansion draft does happen, every team in the NBA, so all 30 other teams, can protect up to 8 players. And so the Vegas team and the Seattle team hypothetically would flip a coin between the two. Whoever wins obviously gets the first pick. Whoever loses gets the second pick, and so forth. And so every team can protect up to 8 players, and these teams will take turns picking players that aren't protected on each of the 30 teams. They'd fill out the rosters. Then I think they'd also have an opportunity to draft in the rookie draft. And so these teams are going to have an opportunity to build with plenty of talented players. I mean, all the time we talk about how the NBA is more so talented now than it ever has been in the history of basketball. And so I think that there's definitely a bright future here in Seattle for Seattle basketball, for Seattle hoops. And I think that, you know, the NBA, again, I can't stress this enough. It's only a matter of time. Bill Simmons has said it. The mayor of Seattle has said it. The CEO of the Seattle Kraken has said it. Heck, Adam Silver has talked about how Seattle is a great city. And so, honestly, for me, I really just got to top it off with this city deserves it. This city, we need voices, and the voices have spoken. The Seattle SuperSonics must return to the NBA, and it's only a matter of time until they do. Bring it back, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed. That marks the end of this episode. Again, if for some reason you aren't already, or if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, not just for all things Seattle content, but NBA content, boxing content, baseball content, Seahawks content, everything sports. Your one-stop shop right here with that subscribe button. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Steezy A Smith for daily content and daily analysis in the world of sports. We got the NBA Finals coming. We will be dropping a preview on that very, very soon before the finals start this coming Thursday. Our next Seahawks draft profile, I'm kind of stuck between a couple of prospects that will also be dropping sometime this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine. As always, all glory to God. Amen. And Steezy out. Again, this video is going to be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content. You don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage, as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.